Okay, folks, welcome to the 1-3 real numbers in the number line. The first thing I want to talk about is square roots and that sort of thing. First thing we want to talk about is what is this symbol. The symbol that you see um, is not a square root symbol. That symbol is called the radical symbol. It is called the radical symbol. So what you have is two parts. The radical symbol, there's the little part right in here. This is called the index. When there's not a number there, it's usually a 2. The radical itself is the stuff, the actual square root symbol itself, the radical symbol. And then the radicand is the number inside of that. Now, when we're talking about square roots, you need to be kind of conscious. There's certain ones that are perfect square roots. Perfect square roots would be like ones that when you punch, like if you did like the square root of 4. If we did the square root of 4, if I hit the square root of 4 and I hit enter, I get a number like 2. That's a perfect square root. But if I hit a number like the square root of like 50, and you can see I get 7.07106. That is not a perfect square root. In fact, that is the approximate number. So you have to be kind of conscious of this. So let's try a few things. Like if we did the square root of a number, let's try 100. You should know that the square root of 100 is 10, but if you don't, you can always just punch your calculator and go square root 100. You get an answer of 10. Square root of 100 is 10. Then you try it with the square root of 25. Square root of 25, you should know, is the square root of 25 is, in fact, 5. So that is a perfect square root. But then there's one like the square root of 15. The square root of 15, well, that is not a perfect square root. So if I had to say the greatest integer that it's between is between 3 and 4. An integer is a whole number, positive or negative. So really what you're dealing with is 3.8. That number is between 3 and 4. All right. So a couple other little things before we move on to the next topic. If we're talking about reducing square roots, like if I have the square root of 25 over 16. Well, that's basically the square root of 25 over the square root of 16. And the square root of 25 is in fact 5, and the square root of 16 is in fact 4. So it's pretty simple, pretty easy. You know, it literally is that simple. Now, what we're going to move on next is the type of numbers that we have, the types of numbers that are out there. This is a nice little thing. It's a Venn diagram of the types of numbers that you have. The most famous one would be the real numbers. Now, rational numbers are any type of number that can be written as a fraction, anything like that. So, like 3 halves, the square root of 4, those are all rational numbers. An irrational number would be like pi. Okay? Integers are whole numbers like 1, 2, 3, and then -1, -2, -3, 0. Whole numbers are like 0, 1, 2, 3, and they move on up. Natural numbers are just the numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. So when we talk about this, if I say like, all right, the number 5, what subset does it fit? Number 5 fits the natural numbers. It fits all of them really good, but number 5, it fits the natural numbers. 116, again, the natural numbers, or whole numbers, or integers. Square root of 3. A square root of 3 is what's called an irrational number because you don't get a perfect square root. So that's the best one that it fits. 17.889, that's a rational number. -25, that would be an integer. -68, that would also be an integer. So I know I went pretty quick. This should again be pretty much review. If you have any questions, I'll be available tomorrow in class. Good luck, and may the force be with you.